Most people approach workplace well-being completely backwards. They throw solutions at symptoms while real problems just keep getting worse. Now, if you're a HR leader watching engagement scores flatline despite every wellness program you've tried, there's a reason for that. The pressure isn't coming from a lack of meditation apps or gym memberships, it's coming from the conditions people work in every single day. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you where to actually start with health and well-being in your organization and why most of what you've been told to do is just expensive noise. Point number one, and this is crucial: stop trying to fix people and start fixing conditions. This is where most well-being programs go wrong from day one. Let me tell you about my own experience. I spent nearly a decade serving in the British Army, building and delivering resilience programs. I personally ran them for over 350 people, and I was burning out whilst delivering them. The organization was spending its money on the programs, the welfare policies, the tick box welfare checks, but nobody was looking at the pressure underneath it. And the problem was never that people needed more resilience training. What conditions in our organization are creating the stress that we're then asking people to manage? That's where you need to start. Map out the organizational source of pressure first, and then address those directly. And this brings me directly on to point number two. There are three organizational conditions that determine whether people thrive or burn out. And most companies get all three wrong. Now, the first condition is workload predictability. Notice I didn't say light workload. I said predictable workload. People can handle being busy if they know what's coming and they can plan for it. What breaks people is the constant firefighting, the urgent requests that derail their entire week. That feeling that they're always behind the goalposts and they keep moving forwards, trying to catch up on emails. Now, research from the Shift Project at Harvard found that the predictability of someone's schedule is even more strongly tied to their health and well-being than their pay. It's not the amount of work, it's not the chaos around the work. Now, the second condition is decision authority. People need some control over how they do their work, when they do it, and what they can prioritize. Micromanagement doesn't just annoy people, it literally creates the psychological stress response that leads to burnout. Now, the third condition is recognition that feels genuine. Not pizza parties or employee of the month certificates, but genuine acknowledgement for someone who understands what the work actually involved. When people feel like their efforts are invisible or taken for granted, that's when they start checking out mentally. I want you to audit these three conditions in your organization right now. Can people predict their workload week to week? Do they have meaningful control over their work? And do they feel genuinely seen and appreciated for their conditions? Now, fix these before you offer another workshop on stress management. Point number three, your well-being programs aren't working because they're trying to help people cope with problems that shouldn't exist in the first place. Think about it this way. Imagine you had a leak in your office. Use an umbrella, teach people waterproof filing techniques, or maybe even bring in a motivational speaker about embracing challenges. Or you could fix the leak. Most workplace wellbeing programs are umbrella training. Now, Deloitte's own wellbeing research found that the biggest barriers to people's wellbeing aren't a lack of programs. They're heavy workload, named by 30% of people, and long working hours, named by 27%. The very things the programs never touch, they're being offered as solutions to problems that they don't have, while the real problems go unaddressed. The fundamental issue is that we've medicalized workplace stress and we treat it like it's a personal failing, something that needs individual treatment, when most of the time it's an organizational problem that needs systemic solutions. You don't need resilience training if your manager actually plans ahead and communicates clearly. Now, here's the question that changes everything. Instead of asking, how can we help people handle more stress? You want to start by asking, why are we creating so much unnecessary stress in the first place? Now, that shift in perspective is where real change begins. This leads me to point number 4. Your managers are either the biggest contributor to workplace stress or the biggest buffer against it. And most of them don't realize which one they are. Now, Gallup research shows that managers account for at least 70% of the variance in employee engagement scores. Your well-being initiatives can't overcome the daily reality of working with someone who creates chaos, confusion, or even fear. I lived this one. I'd taken time off sick. I was breathless, coughing up blood, in and out of A&E, and I'd just lost my mum. I went into work one morning simply to update my boss on where I was at, and within minutes, he was tasking me again. Do this by Friday, follow these people up, sort that paperwork out, and I had to stop him and tell him I wasn't in a good place. He looked at me and genuinely said, "Why the hell are you here then?" And here's the thing. He wasn't a monster by every metric the army measured. He was a decent manager, but he could see my output. He couldn't see me or what was inside. No meditation app and no flexible working policy was ever going to fix that, because the source of stress was a system. Ignore the person doing it. Here's what most organizations miss. Good management isn't just about hitting targets and running meetings. Good management is a well-being intervention when managers communicate clearly. They plan ahead and give people autonomy and recognize good work. They're preventing stress rather than just managing it after it happens. And if you want to improve well-being in your organization, you need to start with manager training that focuses on the basics: clear communication, realistic planning, and consistent feedback with genuine recognition. Now, these aren't soft skills, they're the foundation of a healthy work environment. Now, before we move on to the final point, I'm curious, what's the biggest source of stress in your workplace right now? Is it workload, unclear expectations, maybe poor communication, or something else entirely? Let me know in the comments, because understanding your specific situation helps me to create more targeted and engaging content. Point number 5. Here's exactly where to start if you want to make a real difference in the workplace well-being. And it doesn't require a big budget or a long implementation timeline. First, pick one team and do a stress audit, not a survey asking people how stressed they feel, but a practical audit of what's actually creating pressure. Look at meeting schedules, email patterns, decision-making processes, workload distribution, and communication flows. Find the specific behaviors that are generating unnecessary stress. Second, fix one thing completely rather than improving 10 things slightly. Maybe it's the way priorities get communicated, or maybe it's the approval process that takes 3 weeks when it should only take 3 days. Or maybe it's the manager who schedules meetings during people's focus work time or on a Friday afternoon. Pick the biggest source of preventable stress and eliminate it entirely. Now, third, Measure the right things. Don't just track program participation rates or satisfaction surveys. Track the organizational metrics that actually matter. How often priorities change unexpectedly. How long people wait for decisions that they need for their work. How much time gets lost in inefficient processes. Now, these are the real indicators of workplace health. The goal isn't to help people cope with a broken system. The goal is to build a system that doesn't break people in the first place. Now, that is where real well-being begins. Now, if you're ready to stop wasting money on well-being programs that don't work and start addressing the real sources of workplace stress, I've created a free organizational stress audit that walks you through exactly that: how to identify and fix the conditions that are burning out your people. This audit covers the 3 critical conditions I mentioned in this video, plus a step-by-step process for implementing changes that actually stick. You can download it using the link in the description below. And just out of interest, which of these points resonated most with your current situation? Are you dealing with unpredictable workloads, maybe management issues, or something else entirely? Let me know in the comments. Your specific challenges help me understand what content would be most useful. And if this video helped you think differently about workplace wellbeing, feel free to subscribe to the channel and you'll be notified when I release new content.